Hello, and thank you for viewing the Clayton High School Junior College Planning Night video. Let's get started. So the first screen we have here is the Clayton High School Guidance Department and the people that are in it. I am Joe Valentino, Supervisor of Guidance and Counseling, and the counselors, you see Mr. Fruits. If your child has a last name starting with letters A through K, Mr. Fruits would be your child's guidance counselor. And for letters L through Z, it would be Ashley Smith. We have Susan Quirk Maxwell is the Student Assistance Counselor, and Mary Hartley is our Guidance Secretary. So let's talk about what's been done up to this point with the junior class. So last year, we did ambiance assessments related to career exploration. We do that in ninth grade. We do that in 10th grade. We also do that in 9th grade as well. Just try to get the students to start to think about what their world of work is going to look like, what it can look like post high school and post college. And then this year, we did the PSAT administration. That happens in October. We do test all sophomores and juniors, so your child should have taken the PSAT in October. RCSJ is coming to present to all the juniors on April the 3rd. We get all the juniors down. We kind of give RCSJ the first chance to talk about their programs. And then we're going to be doing presentations. The counselors will be doing presentations in the junior English classes, basically to talk a lot about what's on this video right now, basically nuts and bolts of what they should be doing junior year as it relates to college admissions. So PSAT results, they should be in by now. They usually come in December. Okay, so your child should have been able to view them. They basically represent the total score. The total score represents what you would have on the SAT had it been taken on the same date. So, again, by the time your child takes the actual SAT, they'll have hopefully learned some more, got some more content, some more knowledge, and the scores would improve. But had it been taken on the same date, under the same conditions, this is kind of represents what the SAT score would be. So that's kind of the way you can look at the scores. But I think the biggest advantage to taking the PSAT is all the prep that you can get based off of the PSAT. And that's what this next line says here about creating a College Board account and linking College Board and Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a way you can get free prep for the SAT just based on having taken the PSAT. And it would be linked, the prep would be linked to your child's actual score on the PSAT, okay? So we also have an important note there, use the created account to sign up for the SAT. Do not create a new account. What happens is if they create a new account, it can lead to duplicate accounts. That becomes a problem when they try to register for the SAT. So not that we can't resolve it, we can by calling College Board, but it's kind of a hassle to get that done. So use the same account. Don't create a new account when signing up for the SAT. Okay, so here's just a screen of the PSAT, and basically what I want to show you is where they would start linking to Khan Academy. That's that second link there to start practicing, okay? And like I say, they can get a lot of prep for the SAT just by taking the PSAT, which we do give free to all sophomores and juniors. Next screen is a picture of the Khan Academy home screen, okay? You'll see there, again, you get free official digital SAT prep. Again, if you go out to pay for SAT prep, it can certainly cost quite a bit of money. This is free just for the fact that your son or daughter has taken the PSAT, and they get all this prep for free. So let's talk about standardized tests. Now we think about the SAT for college. However, there is another test that they can take as well. It does the same job, which is the ACT, and that's the screen that you see here, the standardized test. Okay, SAT is certainly a little more well-known here on the East Coast. That's SAT reasoning test, measures critical reading, math, and writing. The ACT is a bit more well-known in, say, the middle of the country, the Midwest, where that's an academic achievement test in the areas of math, English, science, reading, and writing. but they essentially do the same job when it comes to college admissions. As a matter of fact, there is an equivalency chart where you can see what the ACT score would equate to for the SAT and vice versa, okay? Just puts another kind of weapon in your child's arsenal as far as for college admissions. Really no downside to taking the ACT. It's never on the same Saturday, and I'm about to give the dates in a few screens from now for the ACT and the SAT coming up, but you never have to have to choose a conflict between the dates for ACT and SAT, and really which one, some will ask which one's easier. Again, they really kind of do the same job, but for whatever reason, if your child's not getting the score they want on SAT, never hurts to sign up for the ACT and take that one as well and have an ACT score. Okay, so this screen, maybe the most important screen, one of the most important screens in my presentation, and that is that all potential college-bound juniors really should sit for the SAT and or ACT for the first time during junior year. I can't express this enough, okay? Every year we have seniors that kind of are kind of playing catch up with this, and they're sitting for the SAT or ACT for the first time. All of a sudden they realize there's a program. They might have thought they didn't need it, and now there's a specialized program they're applying for. Even RCSJ, I know RCSJ doesn't necessarily for most of their programs need SAT or ACT scores, but they have some specialty programs where they want the students to have SAT or ACT. So this is the way I say it. If you're even remotely thinking about four-year colleges, okay, or even RCSJ, like I say, you're thinking about one of the specialized programs, please sit for the SAT or ACT for the first time in junior year. You can take it again senior year, okay, but again, you don't want to run into problems with any deadlines or anything like that because you haven't sat for the SAT or ACT. I would think that most juniors should be sitting for the SAT or ACT because, again, you don't know what the future, always know what the future plans are going to be. So again, very important. All potential college-bound juniors, please sit for the first time in junior year. And speaking of that, here are our dates here coming up in the spring. So there is a sitting March the 8th for the SAT, okay? That registration date is by the 21st of February, so I'm not sure whether or not this will get released in time on the website for that deadline. However, we will let the kids know about it, certainly. May 3rd is the one that's offered at Clayton High School, okay, which certainly is our big one, and we'd like to hope that our juniors by that date will take the SAT, okay? The registration deadline, that is way out in advance yet. That's April the 18th. Certainly this video will be put on the website by then, okay? And that is the one that is offered at Clayton High School. And then there's a sitting for the SAT June 7th, registration by May the 22nd. The March and the June, you can find them at other local high schools, bigger high schools. Don't have to really travel that far if your child wants to take the SAT on one of those dates, but certainly they're free to sign up for the May 3rd SAT here at Clayton High School. All SATs are now administered digitally. That started last year. It's been very successful so far. And just to let you know, new for the fall of 2025, the College Board has opened up a September date for the SAT, and it is actually September the 13th, 2025. We're not hosting it here at Clayton, but again, for any of those go-getters that are really looking at some of those early decision dates, just to let you know, there is an SAT date. This is brand new, and that will be in September if I wanted to look into that. So, ACT, the other test I was talking about, April, by the way, we do not offer the ACT at Clayton, I should say that. We just don't have enough students that take it here. However, I believe RCSJ has every sitting of the ACT, all the sittings that you see here, okay? So April 5th, registration by February the 28th, June the 14th, registration by May the 9th, and July the 12th, registration by June 6th, okay? Again, that is through www.act.org. And ACT is not currently offered at Clayton High School, but you can find it close by locally. Okay, so let's talk about things to look for in a college. And I should preface this by saying junior year is definitely a big they should be in a big research mode when it comes to colleges, okay? That's what the second half of junior year is really about, really what they should be doing. They're not applying to any colleges, nothing like that, but this should be a big research time, okay? Keeping the list broad, taking a look at everything. Some of the parameters to look at for a college, location, certainly, size, obviously majors and programs, what major they're looking at the extracurricular activities in sports. Do they have a certain sport that your child wants to play? Extracurriculars, things like that. Selectivity, meaning how hard it is to get into the college based on your criteria, okay? And faculty to student ratio, that we're talking about big faculty student ratios with very large seminar kind of classes, or is it a much smaller faculty to student ratio, maybe more similar to what you have here at Clayton High School, okay? All of these things are variables, and they all can be very different from student to student. Just taking a look at the first one, location. Some students want to stay very close by. Some students want to get away and go as far as possible for college. Okay, so every student's going to have different answers to these, but these are certainly some things to look at. Now let's talk about some types of colleges, all right? So junior or two-year colleges, certainly the one that is most popular here in our area is Rowan College of South Jersey, RCSJ. I already told you about the date we're coming here to talk to Clayton High School students. We have a very good relationship with RCSJ. Can't say enough about it, but there are others as well, junior and two-year colleges. Camden County College is relatively close by, things like that. Then you have public schools and private schools. Public schools certainly are New Jersey state schools, okay, and private schools are run by private affiliations. Sometimes people tend to think that, public schools are cheaper, and they are cheaper, okay, but sometimes they don't give out as much money in scholarships as the private schools, okay, so I'll say that right now, I always advocate that I don't think money should be at this point part of the equation, all right, as far as like what you're looking at, because you don't know how. There will be a time to consider that, okay, but initially I would advocate to look at things and colleges kind of not looking at the money piece, okay, because again, sometimes where a school might be more expensive, maybe they have more scholarships available, things like that. You have schools with religious affiliation to them, Catholic universities, so on and so forth, like that. HBCU, historically black colleges and universities. We run a bunch of students every year, a bunch of seniors. This happens in November, to the HBCU College Fair. It's one of our best trips of the year. We always have students that come back with college acceptances and scholarship opportunities on the spot. But certainly we have that category of schools. Then you have Ivy League schools. These tend to be some very highly selective schools, maybe the more the names that we kind of know of, that I've heard of, the Harvards and the Yales of the world, okay? But certainly they are out there, and so again, some types of colleges that you have here. Now, very important, okay? Another very, very important screen here, which is the college admission types, okay? So, rolling admissions. This means that essentially the college does not have an actual deadline, a hard deadline for admissions for their applications. Basically, as I say it, as they get the applications in, they process them, get their decisions out. A lot of times you'll hear from rolling admissions colleges the quickest because they don't have an actual deadline. However, you want to watch, because sometimes rolling admissions colleges, they may not have a deadline for the application, but they have some kind of a deadline for scholarship consideration. Okay, so just make sure you're just reading everything, and some dollars reading everything when it comes to the colleges and the admissions process. Regular decision is kind of what you would think, which is there's the actual date or deadline that they accept all college applications by. Please watch out for these deadlines. They are not very forgiving, the colleges, when it comes to the deadlines. So that would be regular admissions, and then early decision and early action. Okay, these are both two types of admission types where they give some consideration for the student for applying and hitting an earlier deadline. Okay. Usually the early decision one can, and sometimes they call it with early action too. What you want to watch is for binding decisions. Okay, so if it's a binding decision, then you're hitting a deadline and you're kind of bound by contract to go to that school, okay? Believe I talk more about this on the next screen. So anyway, early decision, early action is going to be for hitting an earlier deadline. Usually there's another regular admissions deadline set later on in the future. Yes, and I was kind of getting a little ahead of myself on the last screen, so here on this screen talking about early decision, okay? So early decision is the application process in which students make a commitment to a first choice institution. So in other words, if they apply early decision, they're expected to, if they get accepted, to attend that school, kind of bound by contract, you could say. If admitted, they will definitely enroll. Okay, so while pursuing admission under an early decision plan, students may apply to other institutions, but they may only have one early decision application pending at any time, okay? They're expected to pull their other applications or not accept any other applications, admissions, if they are accepted at the early decision school, all right? We would like to say if your child is going to apply early decision, we do want a parent-student meeting with their school counselor, okay? Kind of the way I always describe this is if you're applying early decision to a school, you want it to be the school of your dreams, okay? You want to be thinking, if I get accepted at this school, there's no way I'm going to look at any other opportunities, anything else. I will be, going to this school, all right? Because there can be some, some penalties to that if breaking that contract, all right? So again, please, if applying early decision, you do want to schedule a parent-student meeting with the school counselor, all right? And again, for those that are applying early decision, I did mention a few screens back, there is that new SAT date in September. So therefore, meeting a set of scores prior to an early decision deadline, you have another opportunity there. So Naviance. Naviance is our online counselor's office. We use this for a whole bunch of jobs in the guidance office. And we've been using it ever since middle school for the students for various surveys and different explorations, things like that. But in particular, Naviance and Naviance Student, which is the student side of it, for juniors, they're going to be using it for their college research. Okay, so there are search engines through there where they can type in variables, some of the variables that I talked about in the earlier screen, and it can, and many more for that matter. And it can spit out lists of colleges that the student wants to research, take a look at. We eventually track all college applications through there, send out all transcripts through there, all letters of recommendation go through there. So there's a ton of things from Naviance that we do related to college admissions. We also have a scatter plots in there for colleges, for many colleges, meaning that you can take a look and see are you the right fit based on your SAT scores and GPA, okay? So again, definitely check out Naviance, and you can ask your child to show you Naviance. It should be able to get you on Naviance. If not, you can always call the school counselor and we can talk you through how to get on there, okay? So again, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but the list right now should be broad, okay? Check out every lead. Time for narrowing the list is going to come later. Again, I talked about, I think, in relation to money and cost and things like that. That time will come. But right now, it should be a broad list, okay? Look at every lead. And break down your list in these categories here. So reach schools are kind of schools that maybe are a little bit out of your child's reach when it comes to SAT and GPA and things like that, but don't discount them because I have seen dream schools come through and come true, reach schools, okay? Target schools would be kind of the ones that seem to fit exactly, okay, for your child's credentials, and then have a couple of safety schools, meaning that probably your child's credentials are over what they need, okay? And we do like to think that RCSJ certainly should be at least on everybody's safety schools list, okay, in case anything wouldn't work out, because you can go to RCSJ just for living in Gloucester County, okay? But again, as your child is looking at schools, I think it kind of helps to break them down into these three categories. So the college visit, very important. Again, I said this is a research time, okay? And definitely research can involve visiting colleges, Okay, I will start by saying that if your child goes to an open house or any kind of college visit, anything like that, it is an excused absence here at Clayton High School. You can get a letter from the school, from the college, and that's not a problem. We'll put that in as an excused absence. But some of the things that you got here, open houses. Okay, open houses basically are giant events at colleges where they are opening up their school to guests to kind of go around, take a tour, look at programs, things like that. Okay. Individual and group tours that really at any time you can call the admissions office and set up an individual tour, and also they do group tours as well. Okay. Virtual tours, maybe you can't get to the college, maybe it's somewhat of a distance, something like that. Well, many times through the college website, you can take a virtual tour to go and take a look at the college and the campus and things like that. College fairs, okay, these are things where colleges will come to particular places, and you might have 100 some colleges at a place where you go and meet with representatives. This is a great way to get information about a whole bunch of schools at one time. Okay, I am going to talk at a couple of screens about our Gloucester County College Fair that comes every year in October. That's a big one. But again, that last line, you always want to be asking yourself when it comes to a four-year college, can I see myself here for the next 4 years? You might have always dreamed of going to a college, okay? This is definitely where I want to go. You get there, you do the tour, and you're like, I just can't see this. I can't see myself being happy. If you're not happy, you won't be successful, okay? That's why the college visit and some form of a college visit is so important here. All right, keeping up your grades, so important, okay? All my screens I believe, are very important, but there are just some that are just stand out as being so super important. And this again is one of them, okay? The college application process starts very quickly at the beginning of senior year. Junior year is your last shot to pad your GPA, which is a part of what the colleges look at for acceptance. So finish strong. It really can make a difference, okay? Every college is going to want a transcript, an official transcript, to take a look at you and make a judgment for your child for acceptance, all right? And a strong GPA, it means so much, okay? So it can mean a difference, even if your child struggled sophomore year, freshman year, sophomore year, okay? Finishing strong junior year, that can make a big difference whether or not your child gets into the college or doesn't get into the college. Okay, so very important screen here. Finish junior year strong. So now we have some important dates to remember. So talked about open houses. Well, Rowan College of South Jersey, they have 2 open houses coming up. One for the Gloucester County campus, okay, which is in Sewell. One for the Cumberland County campus. All right, you see the dates there, March 5th, March 12th. Okay, great opportunity. I would think that many students and parents should be checking these open houses out. April 18th, that is that deadline to sign up for the May 4th SAT at Clayton High School. Okay, so make sure that does not sneak up on you. April 3rd, the RCSJ visit with the juniors at Clayton High School. Again, nothing you have to do. We're going to get all the juniors down to the Performing Arts Center, and RCSJ will give their spiel. And then that big college fair I was talking to you about, October the 9th, it'll be this year, 2025. Giant college fair with over 100 colleges. That is at RCSJ. We'll advertise that as it gets a little bit closer, okay? In their gymnasium, but great way to get a whole bunch of information about a whole bunch of colleges at one shot. And please, if you have not done so already, get on Clayton High School got its X account. That is, in case you were not aware, formerly Twitter. Okay, we do post a lot of information on that, sometimes almost daily. So you see the way to get on there at Clayton Guidance. Okay, we'd like to hope that you can check that out. So summertime, what should you be doing? Certainly visiting schools. Vacation plans can include college stops. This is a great time. You're not in school, going through your classes yet or anything like that. And vacation, you may be going to a state where a school exists where your child is interested. So certainly plan a visit, stop in, take a look. They don't go away in the summertime, okay? Refine your list. So as you're going through the summer, this is where you'll start to refine your list. Look at the pros and cons of each school and kind of getting yourself ready for the application process that will hit pretty quickly in the fall of senior year. Look at deadlines. I mentioned this throughout the presentation. Colleges are not forgiving about deadlines. You don't want any of them to sneak up on you, okay? And then start organizing what you will need to apply in the fall, okay? Whether or not your school's going to need letters of recommendation, whether they won't. Every school's going to need a transcript, okay? So that will involve signing a transcript release form. That's all going to come senior year. But just start organizing and thinking about for each college what you're going to need. And then certainly my note there that we don't disappear in the summer, okay? And spare for myself a little bit of vacation time. I'm here all summer. The counselors have summer days that they do, okay? So it's not that we completely disappear in the summer. If you have any questions, give us a call. And this is my last screen, which kind of lets you right off on the doorsteps of the beginning of senior year, which is actually have a senior college planning video, and I start basically with this screen, okay, which are parts of a four-year college application, okay? So the parts of a four-year application, certainly always an application, certainly always an official transcript, okay? SAT or ACT scores if required. Many schools are going SAT or ACT optional. However, I will once again express and go back to that screen I had a little while ago. Please sit for the SAT or ACT junior year, okay? Again, it's best to have a set of scores, in your possession when needed right away at the beginning of senior year, okay? Even if you think all your schools are SAT or ACT optional, you never know when one might pop on the list where you need them. So I really would like to express that, to take it first time junior year. Letters of recommendation, if required. Some schools need letters of recommendation, some schools don't. College essay, again, if required. Some schools want you to write some kind of an essay, some do not. And then an application fee. This is usually a $60, maybe $50, $60 fee just for applying to the school, for processing, okay? Sometimes if you go to one of those open houses, you can get fee waivers for application fees, okay? So again, but these are generally the parts that you would have of a four-year college application. So we've come to the end of my video, and I would like to thank you for viewing the presentation. Wish you all good luck with the process, and please don't hesitate to contact guidance if you have any questions. Thank you.